Hello again. It is the end of the weekend, so I'm going to show you what I got done. So I went in, put fiberglass on here, and then covered it with body filler, and then sanded for hours to get it all nice and smooth in the way I wanted. I don't know if you saw that I put aluminum foil on top of there, so actually this piece right here is like a cap. I could pull it off because it's not going to stick where the aluminum foil is. The reason I did that is because this right here is the trunk. So there's going to come out here, and then there's a seam somewhere inside of here. I'll use the other side as a template to find out where the seam is. Same thing here. There's a seam right here in between the trunk and the deck lid. Right here, the deck lid has to be able to come up. All right, so at some point I have to cut this, and when I do, this piece will come off separate right here, and this piece here will come off separate. This part back here I'm going to leave alone, and I just decided to do that. So what I did was it had kind of a edge right here where the material was, just like this. So what I did was I put a piece of the thin fiberglass cloth on top of it, and then put resin on it and smooth that out. It's not perfectly smooth. What I did was I put this fiberglass cloth over this entire area. The reason why is there's a spot right there where that dark line is. It cracked. So that meant that it's going to cause problems going forward. So what I did was I put this layer of cloth on top. The layer cloth is 0.8 of an inch thick, ideally. That's theoretical. So my goal is I will not sand through that cloth. That way it gives it a nice surface. It's supported really well. It's just that crack was going to cause a problem. So the cloth is just tying that crack, two halves of that crack together. And what happened is when I would sand it, it would sand nice and smooth, but then when I'd stop sanding, this would pop out just slightly. So that was the idea there. I got it as smooth as I could. There is something called peel ply. It's a cloth that you can put on top of this, and you squeegee it on top. I squeegeed this without the peel ply, and it worked really well, but as the resin started hardening, it also started seeping through and sagging a little bit. The advantage of the peel ply is it soaks up all of that excess. So all those bumps that you see would not be there because they would be soaked in the peel ply. When you're done, you literally just peel the cloth off. I don't know how it doesn't stick, but it doesn't. It just peels right off. So what I'm doing is I'll wait for this to cure just enough. Then I'll lightly sand it. First I'll hit it with alcohol. Got to get the wax off of it. So I'll get the wax off of it, hitting it with alcohol. And then I will lightly sand it to give the filler something to stick to, or I haven't decided if I'm going to use filler or if I'm just going to prime it at this point. Depends on how smooth it gets. And then I'll paint it. So I would go ahead and paint this part right here, but you can see that I purposely put a little bit of extra cloth here. What I did was I taped it. I cut it to size, and then I taped the edge, and then I flipped this whole piece up, put the resin on it, flipped it down, and then put resin on top of it and squeegeed it. So that's what's going on there. Here there was excess. Instead of cutting it, I just went ahead and left it, taped it that way. So all of this top area right here has that extra layer of fiberglass. Now below that, right here, doesn't really need it. So I'm going to cut it right along this edge. The thing to watch out for is exactly that. This is where fiberglass drip, like I said, as it cures, even though you think you've got it, you can see that it's got sags and drips. And when I stopped working, it looked perfect. No big deal. I'll just sand that out. So this is what it looks like. So as far as the way it looks when this cures and I sand it and put a coat of paint on it, this part of the car is done. You know, it's not perfect. It's close enough that I'll send it to, again, I'm going to send all this to a body shop and have them do the finish work. But at least, I don't know, what is that, an eighth of the car is done, or will be done. I went to a car show this morning. It was pretty neat, except for some jerk in his R8 got on it. It was held at a parking lot of like a entertainment center. It's called Austin Park, I think. And they have go-karts and games for kids and all that stuff. But they don't open till 11, so the car show was this morning. So we go to the car show, and unfortunately some people were coming in to take their kids to do the games, and some jerk in his R8 got on it and lost control and ran into their SUV with all their kids in it. So it was not a pleasant experience. And there was only one way in and out, so we were stuck because his car was turned sideways and the SUV was out of commission and people got hurt. So we were stuck there. Anyway, I just wanted to show you where I was, my current update. And next time that should all be orange, and it'll give you a better idea of exactly what the back of this car is going to look like. All right, like, subscribe. Met a lot of nice people at the car show, made a lot of connections. So I'm looking forward to talking to those people in the future. All right, talk to you later. Bye.